Welcome to the JP8 Report. This is James Pierce with the JP8 Report, episode 339. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the JP8 Report. As I get my stuff all set up. Wow. Hope everybody's having a good day. I got two pieces of breaking news before I get into anything else. First, let me refresh this screen. Whoa. Live and in color. It's James. All right, so I'm back. All right, so two pieces of breaking news came out after I wrote all this down and got it all publicized and everything. Breaking news was mortgage rates have fallen below 6% for the first time since 2022. All right, give me an American flag if you're excited about that, because my interest on my house is 4.25, and I remember when I bought my house initially in 2008, we did it at 6%. So this is actually better than when we first bought our house, not before we refinanced it. But yeah, so that's really good. And then it just came out like 3 minutes ago from the New York Post that New York City Mayor Zoran Mamdani made a secret trip to D.C. to meet with President Trump. That's all I saw on it. I don't know what it's about. I'm sure that'll be all over the news this whole afternoon about Mamdani meeting with Trump. All right. They won't say nothing about the 6% or below 6% interest rates, because that's so good news for the president. And, they don't want to say nothing about it. All right. And so, welcome to the JPA Report. As we get started, if you are not already a follower of the JPA Report, and I don't know why you're not, but hey, go ahead and click that follow button for me. And then where it shows that thumbs up, smash it with your thumb. Give us a like, and don't forget you can share. You can leave tips in the Rumble wallet if you want, where it says tip. And then most important, we have a live chat room, and I do engage on it. I talk to you or I type, and I don't know if my hall monitor, Rob, is on the day. He hasn't chimed in yet, so he may be doing something. He has a lot of medical appointments, so you got to pray for him too. So yeah, so you can live chat with me, and then like and please follow, okay? And thank you for the 119th person that followed me yesterday. That's really good. And I do this show Central Time, noon every day, Monday through Friday, the JPA Report. And then I also have a morning brief I do on this channel. It's called JP's Morning Brief. I do that at 6:30 Central also, okay? And just give you a brief overview of what's going on. Sometimes I'll abbreviate a story that I'm doing and say, I'll cover the rest of this again this afternoon, and we'll go more into depth and stuff, all right? All right, so America 250. It's a letter from General George Washington to the Massachusetts Council on the 26th of February, 1776. I am making all possible preparation to take possession of the heights at Dorchester, which I expect I shall be able to accomplish by the last of this week. It is expected that this, if anything can, will bring the enemy out of Boston to oppose, as at Charleston, our erecting any works there. To weaken our lines on the north side of the Cambridge River too much will be a view to strengthen those of Dorchester before any move is made that way by the enemy might expose an opening they would gladly avail themselves to, and to delay it till the attack is begun would be too late, as the contest will soon be decided for or against us after this happens. Under the state of the matter, and to avoid the risking of defeat when victory under providence may be reduced to a certainty, I submit it to the wisdom of your board if it will not be the best direct the militia of some of the towns most contiguous to Dorchester and Roxbury to repair to the lines at those two places where the arms, ammunition, and accoutrements instantly would be a signal given. If you approve of this, will you please fix with General Thomas, who waits upon you on purpose upon the signals to be given, and issue your notice there accordingly. I have the honor to be, with great respect and esteem, gentlemen, your most obedient, humble servant, George Washington. Preparations are being made to relieve Boston of the British, which should be coming within like 3 weeks. All right. I know tomorrow on the 27th there was a battle in I forgot what the name of it was, but it's in North Carolina over by Wilmington. It was a skirmish that we won. All right, so that'll be in the America 250 for tomorrow. All right, as we march forward. All right, so welcome everyone to the JP8 report again. Don't forget to follow and like the podcast. All right, so my next is the Dalmatian Texas Burgers. These guys are smash burgers and dogs right here in Copper's Cove. All their ingredients are fresh and homemade, including their buns. They're open for lunch Monday through Saturday, 11 to 2. They're open for supper Tuesday through Saturday, 5:30 to 7, unless they're sold out. They're located on the west side of Copper's Cove on 190 behind Bush's Chicken. This is their menu. Their prices are almost the same here. Still got to get the new pick for it. But if you look just raise the price on the burgers. Raise them by $1 on each for a single or double or triple, right? And everything else is the same. All right. So that's the Dalmatian group. Give them a try. That'll be our next one. Yeah. Okay. And then as we get started, y'all ready for this? Oh no, that sounds like a song. Hold on, just a second here. That and cough drop. All right. So, what came out yesterday evening and has been accelerating more and more over the last day is that under President Otto-Penn's administration, he violated more Republicans' Fourth Amendment rights by seizing more phone records, and in one instance, recorded her phone call. And that her is the chief of staff to President Trump, Susie Wiles. So these phone records and recording took place in 2022 and 2023, while Otto-Penn was still president. So I got 2 articles to read, and this is the one about the phone call. White House Chief of Staff Susie Wiles was reportedly in shock after hearing that the FBI under former President Joe Biden subpoenaed her and current FBI Director Kash Patel's phone records in 2022 and 23. Wiles, who ran President Trump's 2024 campaign, reportedly told associates, "I am in shock." Access reported on Thursday. Reuters first disclosed the subpoenas, which were issued during the Biden administration while special counsel Jack Smith was investigating Trump's efforts to overturn the 2020 election and his handling of the classified documents at Mar-a-Lago. The subpoenaed toll records include phone numbers and the dates and the times of calls, but not the content of the conversations Fox News has learned. Smith eventually charged Trump in 2023 with multiple felonies offenses related to efforts to challenge the results. So much for freedom of speech, right? Of the 2022 election and the handling of his documents. The election interference case was dismissed by a federal judge after Smith moved to drop it because of Trump's reelection. Smith also dropped Justice Department's appeal on a separate ruling that dismissed the classified documents case. Trump has denied any wrongdoing in both matters. In 2023, the FBI recorded a phone call between Wiles and her attorney. Two FBI officials told Fox News. Additionally, the officials said Wiles' attorney was aware that the phone call was being recorded and consented, but the now White House Chief of Staff did not. It's outrageous, it's deeply alarming that the previous FBI leadership secretly subpoenaed my phone records along with those of the White House Chief of Staff Susie Wiles, using flimsy pretexts and burying the entire process in prohibited case files designed to evade all oversight, Patel told Fox News on Wednesday. Patel has recently ended the FBI's ability to categorize files as prohibited. At least 10 FBI employees were also fired Wednesday. Their names were not given due to privacy reasons. Eric Daugherty, Assistant Chief Officer of Right Lane, an offshoot of Florida's Voice, applauded the filing. Eric Daugherty has a very big X account, okay? Telling Patel, keep purging. Additional conservative influence Nick Sator wrote on X. We know he's famous. He figured out how Somalis spell learning. They spell it leering. The amount of rot in the FBI is insane. And then the FBI's union said a bunch of derogatory stuff about Patel and the president. So we're not even going to read that. It's good that they were that those FBI agents were terminated because they violated both Patel and Wiles' Fourth Amendment rights to search and seizure. They violated their rights. Their Fourth Amendment rights, or Fifth Amendment, Sixth, Seventh, and I believe Eighth Amendment rights. All right, and then they violated President Trump's rights for his freedom of speech, which was all peaceful. All right. I mean, how would you like someone to seize your phone records, right, without a warrant? I mean, I don't care if you're a mass murderer. You have to have a warrant to search for someone's phone. If they have a feeling that your phone number was pinging, they need to have a warrant for that cell tower to figure out what's going on. The amount of power our government has over our lives is pitiful, and we should not tolerate it at all. We're Americans. We should be treated as Americans. We have the Constitution and the Bill of Rights to protect us from the government, not to protect the government from us. Okay? We are the people. Okay? Just like it says, I think it says it on my backdrop here. I can't see because of the glare. I need to fix that. All right. So the next article on it also is, it's the same thing. At least 10 FBI agents were also fired Wednesday. Names were not given due to privacy reasons. And then the union for the FBI. I cannot believe they actually recorded the president's lawyer's phone call. Unbelievable. I mean, how is that even tolerated? Right? So, and then we have the fiasco with the SAVE Act, right? Because we all want the SAVE Act to go through. It took the House 4 separate votes, 4 successful votes, to pass it 4 different times. It sent it to the Senate for Senator John Thune and Mitch McConnell, when he was in charge beforehand, just to sit on their thumbs and do nothing. Because that's the amount of disdain some of these old people have in our Congress. They think they got the power and they don't have to listen to the citizens of the U.S. They're wrong. They are absolutely wrong. He should not be, if he doesn't want to get up and do his job, he needs to be replaced as a majority leader. He can resign right now. We have a Republican governor in the state of South Dakota. They can replace him like that. All right? So he can give up the ghost and we can replace him. We'll put someone like Mike Lee in charge. Hey, it doesn't matter to me. As long as they do what's right as Republican and they act as a conservative, pro-life, and one that listens to President Trump, I'm good. All right? But that being said, Senator John Thune, he said he's going to force a vote on the SAVE Act and put the Dems on record. Says Senate Majority Leader John Thune told Fox News Wednesday that he's going to force a vote on the Safeguard American Voter Eligibility Act, which, among other things, will make people show ID to vote. A crazy idea, right? This article was written by Bob Hoge, okay? Our sister site, PJ Media, reported that he wants Democrats to show America where they stand on the issue that 83% of Americans support. On Wednesday, the day after Donald Trump delivered his State of the Union address, which included promotion of the Save America Act, Thune went to Fox News. On America's Newsroom, Ashley Hosny asked Thune about forcing a vote on the legislation, which would require proof of citizenship to register for voting and to vote. And he said, we will put the Democrats on the record. First, John Thune called out Democrats' despicable behavior at Tuesday night's State of the Union. We'll put the Democrats on record. That is a stark contrast, Aisha. The Democrats, even in the chamber last night, were sitting there and trying to defend allowing non-citizens to vote in American elections. That is a losing proposition for them. But the majority leader added there's one thing they could get out of the way before the SAVE Act. Yet another Schumer shutdown. It's always about money. We will soon get a vote. We are right now in the middle of a government shutdown. So we got to try to get the government opened up first, but in due time, we will get that up on the floor. We will have a vote on it. We'll make sure the Democrats are on the record. He noted that there is a good chance American people will make them pay for clinging to the ridiculous ideological stance. It's a stark contrast between Republicans and Democrats about how they handle elections in this country, and it's going to put them, I think, in a very difficult position. As I'm reading this, if you trust John Thune to make a correct decision in the Senate, give me a comment, okay? It's an issue that if I were running as a Democrat in the midterm in November, I would not want to have to defend. Earlier in February, the president explained on social media why the left refuses to support an obvious election integrity measure such as voter ID. They all want to cheat. I encourage Democrats to stick to their guns on this issue and on their general radicalism and to the endless shutdowns and general lack of purpose, banging pots and demonstrating. I'm sure it'll work out for them. All right? So sometime, maybe after you have an open and functioning and fully funded federal government, we'll finally act on the SAVE Act. I look at it right now. If a senator can get behind his podium and make a speech before an empty chamber of commerce, we can fill that chamber and then do the voting we need to vote. Because this is childish, super childish. Does anyone have any faith that John Thune's going to do the right thing and uh, open up the government? I don't think so. He needs to open up the government, compliments of the Democrats, and then he needs to engage on the filibuster to get the SAVE Act passed. All right. What's next? Oh, okay. Epstein, a person I don't like to talk about. All right. So, former Secretary of State and first spouse, I think, is to be deposed. That'd be Hillary Clinton. Is to be deposed by the House Oversight Committee late Thursday morning, which is right now, as lawmakers continue to investigate the federal government's handling of the Jeffrey Epstein case. The deposition is expected to begin at 11 a.m. in Chappaqua, New York. The Clintons have owned a house in the affluent New York City suburbs since 1999 and have primarily used three former President Clinton and have primarily been lived there since President Bill Clinton left office. And while closed-door depositions normally require a committee staff present in most cases, the source familiar with planning told Fox News Digital that House Oversight Committee James Comer will be present in person. At least 10 House Republicans in the committee will also attend, the source said. All right. So I have a blurb I got. This is what she said at 10:30 Eastern Time. Hillary Clinton tells the House, "I do not recall ever encountering Jeffrey Epstein." That's odd. Your husband had him many times. You don't check on your husband? My wife checks on me all the time. Sometimes I don't like it. Sometimes I think it's kind of cool. But she, man, I do not recall ever encountering Jeffrey Epstein. Wow. I don't know what to tell you guys. That's something else. Thought I heard another. Yeah, I thought, oh, there it is. I have something that came out on X. From Nick Sorter, U.S. Capitol Police arrested Ilhan Omar's State of the Union guest after she refused to stop standing. Oh, yeah, we all know about that. Okay. And then, when did this come out? Whoa. This came out late last night. I was reading about this one early this morning. Breaking. Williamson County, we call that Wilco here in Texas. Williamson County Elections Administrator caught destroying evidence of surveillance gaps. Wait a minute. This is from Lori Gallagher. It's on X. Williamson County Election Administrator Wilco Elections caught destroying evidence of surveillance gaps. A digital clock in early voting ballot boardroom exposed 2+ hours of missing surveillance on February 20th, 2026, what did election administrator Bridget Escobedo do? She unplugged the clock. It says, one, Laura Presley was monitoring the legally required surveillance feed, and it's Texas Election Code 127.1232B, and noticed the clock on the EVBB table jumped from 5:18 to 6:24, and then again from 6:47 to 7:47 p.m. Over 2 hours of video gone. After those 2 hours of missing footage, Escobedo person delivered 4 early voting ballot boxes to the vault alone. No Republican designee, no watchers, no chain of custody. Then at 8:28 p.m., she unplugged the clock. The clock stayed off for nearly 5 days, eliminating the only independent timestamp that could expose future video gaps. Today at noon, the Republican presiding judge plugged the clock back in. Escobedo, at 4:53 p.m., Escobedo marched into the EVBB, shook the clock at the judge, and physically removed it from the room. It's all on video. The ballot board members laughed at her after she left. Why would an election administrator remove a clock from a room with legally required 24/7 surveillance? Because that clock is the only way the public can verify the video feed hasn't been spliced. In Wilco, Texas, March 2026 Republican primary, this is happening right now. Oh my goodness. 38-second video. Hold on just a second here. Y'all want to see a video? I'll play it straight from my phone. Let me turn up the volume on this. Hold on. Turn up the volume. The rest of my volume's up. Forgot to silence everything. I'm glad I saw this. Okay, guys. All right, y'all watching this? Let me get everything set. Whoop, back up. Wow, she's left unattended. She should not be alone at all. Where did she go? Wow. Wow. Okay, so the person that posted this was Lori Gallagher. It's Lori on a farm is her name on here. Okay. Now
You're going the wrong way down southbound.
Hold
61.
on. I don't know what that is about. And here's another X. Hold on just a second here. Turn my volumes all down. I'd hate to get surprised by a volume, right? It's from the Senate. From Right Angle News Network, just days after Senator Thune said there was no time to debate and vote on the SAVE Act, it was revealed that senators held a dog parade inside the chamber. Bringing their pets in for photos and celebration instead of moving forward with the elections bill. That was forwarded from Elon Musk from the Right Angle News. All right. Wow. Best in the show. So there's no time to pass legitimate legislation in the Senate. But there's time to show off your dogs, which is stupid. Okay, let's get back to the real stuff. Well, that is real. There we go. I'm back. Oh, Rob's here. Woohoo! All right. So, what were we talking about? We were talking about Hillary Clinton, weren't we? And Jeffrey Epstein before we started talking about elections. You missed a lot there, Rob. You should have been here. Ha! Boy. Former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton is set to be deposed. But disposed is what Hillary Clinton does to her political enemies. House Oversight Committee late Thursday morning, they're going to New York to talk to her. And like I was saying on here a while ago, she says she has never had any interaction with Jeffrey Epstein ever. But her husband, former President Bill Clinton, on many occasions has been with Jeffrey Epstein, with other women in his vicinity, and with a with a painting of him in a blue dress on the wall in Jeffrey Epstein's estate. What kind of spouse is she? Is this for political purposes, a marriage, or were they a real, true marriage? Right? We're already at 12:32. Okay. Do y'all want to hear more about this, or I want to hear more about? Because I don't trust a thing that she says at all, because she's probably lying through her teeth. And the fact is that she is sworn in increases the chance that she's perjuring herself, just like her husband perjured himself in the late 1990s and got away with it during an impeachment trial. Okay? This time, if he perjures himself, he's going to go before a grand jury and be indicted and go before a trial with real jurors. Right? All right. So before I go any further, I was talking to y'all this morning about, man, I ain't going to have enough time here. I'm going to run out of time. Yeah, I'm going to do this. Where is it? So, a former U.S. Air Force fighter pilot who once trained American service members on advanced combat aircraft, including the F-35, has been arrested and accused of illegally training Chinese military pilots, federal prosecutors said Wednesday. The Department of Justice said Gerald Eddie Brown Jr., whose call sign is Runner, was taken into custody in Jeffersonville, Indiana, and charged with providing and conspiring to provide defense services to the Chinese military pilots without authorization. Prosecutors allege Brown violated the Arms Export Control Act, a federal law that regulates the export of U.S. defense articles, services, military technology, and requires the government approval before they can be shared with foreign governments or nationals. The United States Air Force trained Major Brown to be an elite fighter pilot and entrusted him with the defense of our nation. He now stands charged with training Chinese military pilots. Assistant Attorney General for National Security John Eisenberg said, when U.S. persons, whether military or civilian, provide training to a foreign military, that activity is illegal unless they have a license from the State Department. The DOJ alleges that since at least in or around August 2023, Brown willfully conspired to. Hold on just a second. Let me see this real quick. Let's see. He alleges that in or around August 2023, Brown willfully conspired with foreign nationals and other U.S. persons to provide combat aircraft training to pilots in the Chinese Air Force, known as the People's Liberation Army Air Force, or PLAF, or PLOF. Prosecutors say the training required the State Department approval under federal export regulations, and Brown did not have a license to provide it to the foreign military. Brown served more than 24 years in the U.S. Air Force, according to the DOJ, leaving active duty in 1996 with the rank of major. So he's an Air Force retiree. All right. So he's responsible for training instructor for the F-4 Phantom, F-15 Eagle, F-16 Falcon, and the A-10 Thunderbolt. After leaving the military, Brown was a cargo pilot and later as a contract simulator instructor trainer on the A-10 Thunderbolt and the F-35 Lightning II. Man. Okay, so he's in a whole heap of trouble. And plus, there's one more. Remember yesterday I was talking to y'all about the deal about Senator Mark Kelly. He says, you can't do this because I'm a Navy retiree. It's my right to do so. I told y'all I would find the answers to that, right? I found it on congress.gov. All right. That's the official website of the United States Congress. So y'all wanted it, I'm going to give it to you. So this was written on the April 5th, 2023. And I may not get to the rest of this stuff today because this is important. All right, are you listening, Rob, since you are a military retiree? April 5th, 2023, this is updated. Members of the United States Armed Forces are governed by a distinct criminal legal regime, the Uniform Code of Military Justice, the military justice system. They are subject to civilian laws and courts. They are also subject to civilian laws and courts. The purposes of this system, in addition to pursuing justice, are maintaining good order and discipline in the armed forces, promoting efficiency and effectiveness in the military establishment, to strengthen national security of the United States. The military justice system differs from the civilian counterparts in several key ways, including 1. Extensive military commander authority over legal process. 2. Criminal code. The Uniform Code of Military Justice that includes military-specific offenses in addition to those typically contained in civilian criminal codes, specialized tribunals called court-martials, and abrogated constitutional rights, i.e., no right to grand jury indictment or jury trial. Given the military justice system's distinctiveness, whether a person is subject to military jurisdiction, it can be a great consequence to both individual and military. Unlike most civilian legal systems in which geography or legal subject matter generally determines jurisdiction, the military justice systems exercises global jurisdiction based on an individual's military status. Military retirees, for the most part, maintain legal military status and are therefore subject to military law. For information on military retirement, see CRS and Focus IF 10483. This legal sidebar contains statutory basis for military jurisdiction. Hold on. Okay, that's the breaking news I said earlier. Mamdani is meeting secretly with President Trump for some reason. Let's see. Statutory authority. We're not going to go through all this. What I'm going to do is I will put a copy of this on the notes. Okay. Um, let's see. Under Article 1, Section 8, Clause 14 of the U.S. Constitution, the Congress shall have power to and make rules for the government and regulation of the land and naval forces. Congress exercises authority to create the military justice system, including provisions extending military jurisdiction over service member retirees. Congress has included military retirees under military jurisdiction since the first military retired list was promulgated in 1861. That's when the Civil War began. Article 2 of the UCMJ, that's the Uniform Code of Military Justice, subjects the following three categories of retired service members to military law. Retired members of the regular component of the armed forces who are entitled to pay. 2. Members of the reserve component who have been receiving hospitalization from the armed force. And 3. Members of the Fleet Reserve and the Fleet Marine Corps Reserve. And then it says regular component service members are generally entitled to retirement pay after completing 20 years of active duty. They can be entitled to retirement pay if they qualify for disability retirement before completing 20 years of service. The U.S. Supreme Court has long held that Article 1, Section 8, Clause 14 of the U.S. Constitution expressly entrusts Congress with crafting the military justice system, and that federal civilian courts must accord Congress in the military great deference on military legal matters. Nevertheless, the Supreme Court has stated that any expansion of military jurisdiction necessarily encroaches on that of federal civilian courts, where persons on trial are surrounded with more congressional safeguards than in military tribunals. Congress's capacity to authorize trial by court-martial, the courts explained, must therefore be limited to at least possible power adequate to end proposed. I don't understand all that. So I'm gonna attach this to this. The Sec War is right. He can be brought back on active duty and reduced in rank. And we're talking about Senator Mark Kelly. He can be Article 15. He can be court-martialed, be reduced in rank. I think as an officer you have to be court-martialed. I don't think an officer can receive UCMJ action. I'm not sure, because it has to be instituted by a company grade officer or field grade officer. He can get a GOMAR, General Officer Memorandum of Record, which is a career ender. But I'm definitely going to put this in the show notes and keep it for a few days so people can read it, okay? Where are we standing at time-wise? 12:44. We're doing pretty good. All right. I thought y'all would be interested in that. Give me an American flag if y'all agree with that. Or put something in the chat or in the comment section. All right. So, and then let's just stay with the military, okay? Pentagon gives AI firm ultimatum: lift military limits by Friday, that would be tomorrow, or lose a $200 million contract. What that means is, okay, I'll just read it. The Pentagon has given artificial intelligence firm Anthropic until Friday to lift restrictions on how Claude AI can be used by the military, warning it could cancel a $200 million contract or take other punitive steps if the company refuses, according to multiple military sources familiar with the discussions. The skirmish broke out after the Pentagon claimed Anthropic had asked whether its product was used in the January military operation to capture Venezuelan leader Nicolas Maduro in a way that suggested the company may not approve if it was. The Pentagon insists AI companies must allow products to be utilized for all lawful military use cases without company oversight or approval. Anthropic, because they're not elected members of Congress or in the chain of command. Anthropic denies discussing use of Claude or specific operations and suggests its red lines are not allowing its products to be used or fully autonomous weapons or mass surveillance of Americans. War Secretary Pete Hegseth delivered the ultimatum during a Tuesday meeting at the Pentagon with Anthropic CEO Dario Amodei, even as Hegseth praised the company's technology and the company wants to continue to work with the firm. That's all I say is lift the restrictions. All right? Man, keep getting breaking news and stuff. Claude is currently the only advanced commercial AI model of its kind operating inside the Pentagon classified network under a $200 million contract awarded last year, significantly raising the stakes of the dispute. Pentagon officials argue the Department of Defense cannot depend on a private company that maintains categorical restrictions on certain uses of its technology, even as those uses are lawful. During the meeting, Hegseth compared the situation as being told the military cannot use specific aircraft for a mission, according to military source, a source familiar with the exchange. The dispute represents an early test of who controls the guardrails of advanced AI within the government defense systems, private companies or the Pentagon. The outcome could shape how the military partners with leading AI developers as it moves to integrate the more powerful machine learning tools into national security operations. What do y'all think about that? Huh? I call it proprietary information. You shouldn't, if you're going to sell weapons or technology to the Pentagon, you should understand that your technology and your weapons can be used for lethality means to take out the enemy. If you have what is it called? If you're pacified, or there's another name for it, don't make a bid. Don't make make it possible for a disagreement within the military. You need to understand your company is not elected and they have no role in the chain of command whatsoever. So if you're going to sell a bill of goods to the military, sell it and be gone. After you have that point of sale transaction, which is exchange of the invoices and stuff, it's over. Total. So be gone, right? My watch is telling me I need to start walking. Well, we'll find out tomorrow, right? If we still have an AI firm. It's called Claude, okay? All right. So next is, I spent almost 25 years on active duty in the Army, and I never went to Korea. I got so lucky, right? If I wouldn't have retired, I know I would have ended up in Korea, but I'd retired before they could put me on levy because I spent 4 years at Fort Hood in all signal senior NCOs. That'd be sergeant first class and above. That'd be sergeant first class, master sergeant, sergeant major, or first sergeant also. Uh, if we were on station 48 months, the 49th month we would already be PCSing. All right. And I know since I was so close to my retention control point, because I had 25 years active duty, they would send me on a short notice rotation. I'd be stationed in Korea for a year, come home and retire. All right. Um, and there's all kinds of other little. I mean, you just heard me read a little bit about retirement and UCMJ. There's even more to it about retiring. All right. You can't just hit your RCP and retire, because if you hit your RCP and you're not on retirement orders, they can involuntarily separate you and you can lose your retirement. All right. But that being said, in Korea, all right, Kim Jong Un calls South Korea most hostile enemy and says North Korea could completely destroy it. Uh, if you believe that North Korea possesses the means to destroy South Korea, say something in the chat. Um, I don't know if Rob has ever been to Korea. I've never, like I said, I've never been there. All right. So, North Korea leader Kim Jong Un said Thursday that his country could completely destroy South Korea if it feels threatened, escalating rhetoric while ruling out renewed talks. Speaking at North Korea's week-long Ninth Congress of the ruling People's Party in Pyongyang, Kim labeled South Korea as the most hostile enemy. At least there's one more than us out there, right? And everyone calls us a hostile enemy. Rob's never been to Korea. Lucky you, right? Uh, said the conciliatory attitude of South Korea's current government advocates on the surface is clumsy, deceptive, and crude, according to state media Korea Central News Agency, KCNA. Kim said North Korea can initiate arbitrary action if South Korea engages in obnoxious behavior, directed his country to dismantling recent efforts by Seoul to improve relations. South Korea's complete collapse cannot be ruled out. During the Congress, Kim outlined sweeping 5-year policy goals centered on expanding North Korea's nuclear arsenal. Nuclear weapons in the hands of a madman. Go figure. The country is believed to possess around 50 warheads and enough fissile material to produce up to 40 more, according to an estimate last year from the Stockholm International Peace Research Institute. The North Korean leaders said the country's international status has been risen extraordinarily. It is our party's firm will to further expand this and strengthen our nuclear arsenal and thoroughly exercise its status as a nuclear state. We will focus on objects to increase the increasing number of nuclear weapons and expanding nuclear operational means. Kim laid out plans for North Korea to develop more advanced intercontinental ballistic missiles capable of underwater launches, along with artificial intelligence-driven weapons systems and unmanned drones. Kim, who met with President Trump 3 times in his first term, signaled he may be open to future negotiations with Washington, but placed responsibility squarely on the United States, whether it's peaceful coexistence or permanent confrontation. We are ready for either. The choice is not ours to make, he said. Kim said that if the U.S. withdraws its policy of confrontation with North Korea and acknowledges the country's current status, there will be no reason why we cannot get along well with the U.S. Following the Congress, Kim's teenage daughter attended a military parade in Pyongyang on Wednesday, according to KCNA. J.E., believed to be 13 or 14, was photographed standing beside her father and senior military leaders. Her appearance comes as South Korean media reported that Kim gave her a leadership role. She's only 12 years old, or 13, in the powerful missile administration which oversees Pyongyang's nuclear forces. What do y'all think? Warren said, yeah, I don't think if Kim Jong Un says he can destroy South Korea, it's a fluke, it's a talking point, and it's just to get the South Koreans scared of what the North Koreans can do after many years of coexistence. It's already 12:56, so I'm going to hold off on these ones for rollover for tomorrow. All right. So, Rob, did you have any comment on that ex-United States Air Force major that was training Chinese pilots? And why am I looking at my tablet instead of looking at the camera? I've never learned that part. So, what was I getting at? Oh, yeah. Okay. I lost my mind. Let's see. We were talking about the Texas Minute this morning, right? And so February 26th, in 1871, two brothers, 8 and 10, were kidnapped by a group of Comanches and Olympians. After two failed rescue attempts, Jefferson and Clinton Smith were eventually reunited with their families 5 years later. I have no idea why that was so important. And then quote, there's a Benjamin Franklin quote, "We constantly change the world even by our inaction. Therefore, let us change it responsibly." That's a very good quote. Court martial. Yep, that's right, man. Oh, wow, there's some serious stuff in the Texas Minute. Okay, so the one thing I know I'm going to go overtime. That's all right. I want to go over this one more time. I talked a little bit about this morning because we're still in the middle of early voting here in Texas. There was a survey that was conducted from February 12th to February 16th at the University of Texas. And I know a lot of us already voted, but this is what's going on right now, right? In the Attorney General's race, there's four candidates, right? Chip Roy, Mays Middleton, or MAGA Mays Middleton, Joan Huffman, and Aaron Rice. All right, 8% are undecided. Right now, if it came to right now, Chip Roy would win the nomination for Attorney General, 40% to Mays Middleton to 38%. Joan Huffman is at 9. Aaron Rice is at 5. All right. Wow, I did not expect that kind of result. And remember, this ended. The primary stuff started speeding up after Valentine's Day weekend, after President's Day weekend, right? The next question was United States Senator, right? And there's several people in it, but there's three main people, right? Ken Paxton, John Cornyn, and Wesley Hunt. Ken Paxton comes in first with 36%. John Cornyn comes in second at 34%. And Wesley Hunt comes in at 26%. Remember, this was surveyed, ended on the 16th of February, right? And then Greg Abbott, If I was Pete Chambers, I'd go back to work right now because the poll with Greg Abbott shows him winning the nomination with 91% of the vote. That means there would be no runoff, right? And then Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick is closely behind him, like that. He's at 87%, and Tim Mabry is at 3%. So there wouldn't be a runoff there. And then Democratic primary for what? Oh, for governor. Gina Inosa from Houston. She's got a 76 percentile for the Dems. And then Jasmine Crockett right now, there is not going to be a runoff in this race, in this Senate race for the Democrats. It's Jasmine Crockett right now is winning 56-44, right? But remember, this was 2 weeks ago or a week and a half ago, okay? And then that is all on that poll. That is tremendous, right? And then the next one is, did Williamson County waste $1 million on voting equipment? Well, what did we just read on X just a minute ago was that the Democrat person was actually unplugging the clock so she could flaunt the video display. And what was she doing when it was off? Why was she by herself in the polling areas? There's a lot of questions that need to be answered about it. We're at 101. Hey, if you're watching this, please click that like button and please subscribe, okay? I would appreciate that. So we just watched that on X. Rob, I held my phone up so people can watch the video. That was tremendous. Okay. Hold on just a second. Y'all remember that young man, the young man that got the Legion of Merit for rescuing 165 people? That happened around Camp Mystic this last summer, and he rescued 165 people. Well, this article is from the Texas Minute, Texas Scorecard. It says Lieutenant Governor, these are bullet points. I'm going to read this probably tomorrow. Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick is urging the Texas Department of Health Services not to issue Camp Mystic a license to operate until lawmakers complete their investigation into last summer's deadly flooding, drawing criticism from State Representative Wes Vedreau. During the Hill Country flooding last year, 28 lives were tragically lost at Camp Mystic, including 25 campers, 2 staff members, and the camp director. Patrick said it is naive. It was not. It is okay. Patrick said that it is naive to allow Camp Mystic to hold camp as usual before all the facts surrounding the incident are known. Vedreau is Republican from Brady, Texas, whose district includes Camp Mystic, publicly pushed back in a strong disagreement, said that after the unprecedented flood that it was not seen in centuries, the camp became the first to install a new flood warning system. And for its part, Camp Mystic released a statement defending its right to continue to hold camp this summer, and it is currently in full compliance with all aspects of the new state safety laws, arguing there is no regulatory basis to deny a license. Looks like Texas and the camp are clashing, right? Let's see if there's anything else I could read on this. Texas freedom of choice. Education freedom accounts hit 130,000 applications before the midway mark, which shut it down because it was limited to 100,000. All right. So we'll stop there for the day. All right. Don't forget, we have early voting loan through Friday. Primary is this coming Tuesday. And runoff is the 26th of May. Don't forget to go vote. This Saturday morning, if you're in Gatesville, Texas, we have Coryell County Republican women meeting at 9:30 at Rancher Steakhouse. That's at the intersection of 84 and 36. If you know, you know, right? Ballers invited. All right. So I will do more of this tomorrow morning. It's 1:05. Anyone have any questions or anything? There we go. Well, send it to me. Okay, I'll call you right after this is over, Rob. Okay. All right. So these are my socials. All right. All right. I should know by tomorrow also if I get to go back into the creators program for a Rumble. That would be pretty cool if I can do that. We shall see. We shall see. All right. So this is James Pierce with the JP8 report. I'll catch you on the flip side. I'm out.